more money, how to make more money. That's basically the topic. The worst thing that can happen is that they'll come back and they'll try to negotiate you, which is what happens most of the times. One other thing I feel I've seen candidates doing really well in terms of negotiating is having counter offers. We'll look at both the options, which is like where you have mostly just base pay and bonus versus you have base pay, stocks and bonus. Hi everyone, welcome back to Keep It Real with Aish and Adi. And this episode is all about negotiation, which is probably $1 million, $1 billion question, whatever people might say. Also coming back from a lot of our calls that we have done with our mentees and friends of friends and neighbors, kids, about helping them with how they should be negotiating salaries. So we thought we'll come together and make a video about it.
So let's talk about the topic that everyone loves but nobody wants to talk about.
Get more money, how to make more money. That's basically the topic. When I was at IBM, I transferred from being an intern to being a full-time employee. And obviously I came from India, right? And we all have this mindset that, hey, if I'm going to ask for more salary, they're going to take back the job offer. Okay, a lot of people have this, and probably somewhere I had the same thing. So I was waiting for the right opportunity. So as an intern, I had a big presentation with the client. So I did that presentation, went really well. Went out with my team for lunch, and everything was joyous and happy. And that's when I was like, okay, let me ask if they can bump up my salary, because why not? And I asked them, and I got in that time 20% higher salary than what was my initial offer. That's when I realized that the golden words are, you will not get it till you ask. The worst thing that can happen is that they'll come back and they'll try to negotiate you, which is what happens most of the times. But you got to ask for what you think you deserve. So I'm not saying that, ask for $1 billion offer. Be reasonable, of course. Try to understand what's your skill set, what's your role, what is a reasonable range, but ask. So now coming back to how do you go about asking? So you've shared a lot of these tips earlier. So why don't you get started?
No, absolutely. I think what you said is 100% right. Always negotiate when you are especially switching companies, because recruiters and people in the hiring organization, this is a practice that's well understood. They are well prepared for it. It's not like they are going to be taken aback by just because you negotiated your offer or you're working through the negotiation process. It's a process. It takes its time, but eventually you get to a place where both of you are happy and then you proceed. So definitely 100% I agree, negotiate. And my simple logic when I ask for something, whether it's I am asking for a promotion, or I'm asking for a raise, or I'm asking for anything, I'm trying to even ask a favor. It is important to sort of back that up with data. I feel don't just go in asking for more money. Everyone loves more money. Everyone wants more money. But then we live in a world where we have rules and we have guidelines based on what your level is, what is the role you're applying to, what is the industry trend for that role,
what location.
Yeah, great call out. Definitely location. There are a lot of data points that go in when you're trying to determine a salary. And it's very important to do your own research before you go into the negotiation process. So you have your offer, you just got selected, you heard back from the recruiter, everyone's happy. Now obviously it comes to the difficult point of negotiation. First of all, the important thing to remember is just because you negotiated, your offer is not going to go away. I feel a lot of people, especially people younger in their careers, they're afraid to ask, thinking that, oh, I got my job at a dream company, they're going to take it back because my negotiation or the offer that I'm asking, the money that I'm asking is too high. First of all, I feel it's really hard to recruit people.
Yeah.
It's really hard to recruit the right people.
Yeah.
So definitely, as much as you want to be a part of the company also wants
Needs you.
and
Yeah.
wants you to be a part of their team. So it's not like it's a one-way street. Mostly, it's actually really like, you know, both from
Yeah.
both sides. Like really, both of them want to make this happen, and your recruiter is actually on your side. It's not the recruiter that's trying to make the hiring decision. And hear this when I say this, recruiters are not incentivized to get a candidate for less money.
Yeah.
Like that, just simply that practice does not exist. Like recruiters are not paid based on how much they are able to lowball a candidate. So the recruiter is actually on your side. So they are actually there to represent you and your case to the higher powers within the organization who actually control the money. They're trying to showcase why you deserve it. What have you done through your interviews? What is your past experience? Like they are actually, there's a lot of work that the recruiter has to do to actually make the case for you. So when you're going to these conversations, the first thing I would say is go in with a lot of data, whether it's looking up what is the level compensation in a given location for a given company. There's a lot of databases. Levels.fi,
Yeah.
I think, is the most.
Glassdoor has. Yeah.
Glassdoor is definitely one. It's more broader, but I think for engineering, Levels.fi is a very good benchmark to take a look at. So go with these like 2 or 3 data points. It need not be like any specific website, but like, you know, just showcase that, okay, I've done my research across these 2 or 3 like, you know, salary comparison websites, and this is the range that I feel that, you know, I should be at given the level, the location, and the company. And that's a good starting point. I feel like that will at least make sure that you go in strong, you go in and you represent yourself well, and then the recruiter will be able to make a case for you within the internal hiring organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna get into the details of like how that negotiation should look like if you are a fresher, like a fresh graduate into their first job, versus how you should think about it if you are a more experienced professional. But before we get there, typically in the US and also like in India and like some of the other countries, the pay structure is something like this. You have a base salary, you have equity that you get, RSUs or like, you know, stock options that you have at the company, and you have a bonus or like, you know, yearly bonus or performance bonus. That's a percentage of your base salary. Now, not every component of this has very high wiggle room. Typically, like I've seen this a lot. I think like California has put a mandate that companies need to disclose their base salary on LinkedIn or like other job portals. So that's a very, very good data point for you to look at. And also there's like, you know, salary calculators online. So what you could do is like, let's say I'm comparing California salaries at a company like Meta at software engineer level 4. I can go through the salary calculators and maybe find what is an equivalent and a rightful salary in a different city where that mandate might not be true, and you're like trying to just compare what the ideal base salary should look like for you. So now that's one part, right? A lot of times what happens and what I've seen is base salary is not highly negotiable. They may go up maybe like 10-15%, but it's not highly negotiable. What has more wiggle room is the equity or the stocks that you get from any company. And because it's typically spread out in 4 years, there's more wiggle room that you can negotiate for. So do you have like any tips of like, you know, how to like maybe back that up in terms of like, how do you go about asking that, hey, I want this much in base, this much in stocks, here is what my distribution of ask looks like. So typically, any big tech company or majority of the industries nowadays have this format where they have a base salary, they have stock options, and they have a bonus, which is a percentage of your base salary. Some of the companies don't have stock options. They have something called as an ESPP, which is an employee stock purchase plan, where you get your stocks at a discounted price. So like, let's probably like push that out of the window for now. We'll look at both the options, which is like where you have mostly just base pay and bonus versus you have base pay, stocks and bonus. Typically, this is again the pattern that I have seen, is that companies have lesser wiggle room in your base pay. So if you're able to ask for something like 10% higher or 15% higher, it's most likely going to happen. But anything beyond that can get harder depending on the range where they've already offered you. So let's say if you go on LinkedIn and you see that, hey, for like software engineer level 4 at a company, their base pay range is between 150 to 180. And let's say that they've already offered you 170 as base. If you end up going and asking them for 200, that might be a harder sell to make because you're already in the top part of your base pay. In those situations, what you could do is negotiate a higher stock options, because companies are typically more flexible in the stock options, because that's not something that they're gonna give it to you right away and it's spread across 4 years. So that's one of the tips. So maybe like try to have your biggest percentage of ask for stock options compared to base pay, because that's where they have more wiggle room. Now, that's mostly, again, like I'm answering this based on people who are, let's say, freshers, right? What would you say is some of the good tactics for people who are experienced? Let's say you're coming in from a different company, right? So you already have a base to compare with when you're moving into a different company. What are the tactics that an experienced employee can use in order to negotiate offers?
I think first thing, like you were sort of splitting the question as fresh grad versus experienced grad, right? For freshers, unfortunately, like there is not a lot of wiggle room to begin with. Like even in my first job, like I was pretty much given my salary as it is, because the reason being fresh grads don't have a lot of leverage, right? Like you are fresh out of college, you're looking for your first job, you don't have any experience working on like real world projects, or like you've never worked at in a corporate setting before, so you don't come in with as much leverage. Ultimately, like the hiring process is all about the leverage you have versus the company you're trying to go for. You come in with a lot of experience, you come in with like deep expertise in a specific area, or like even like you are like one of the AI, like the few AI researchers like that are all over the news. They are really able to solve something very very specific that probably only a few people in the world can really do. So that really gives them a lot of leverage versus the company, and they can make those kind of asks because they can guarantee you that they will return that much more in value. So I feel like with an experienced candidate, it is important to understand where your skills are, and also network with maybe people having similar skills, people that you trust. Get a sense of what the salary ranges can look like. Go in with an informed mind. I think that's been my advice from the beginning. Be well informed about what the industry pay looks like. Most companies generally they follow the industry when they are setting their own pay scales. So I would definitely encourage people to understand the leverage that they have. Obviously, showcase the years of experience you have, and go in with data, because the data speaks for itself. If there are a lot of people with your level of experience or deep expertise in the area that you are an expert in, and they are making like whatever, like A to B, then you deserve the same. Like there's no reason why you should not be asking for that. So I would definitely go in with that mindset. Provide data for any ask that you make, and I mean, companies will do the best that they can to make sure that you are able to come to mutual terms.
Absolutely. One other thing I feel I have seen candidates doing really well in terms of negotiating is having counter offers. That's something which is this is great, because typically, and this is something that happens a lot with tech companies, they want to get the best talent for themselves, and a tech company that knows that this candidate has been offered from like 3 other tech companies, they would try the best to get you to get you to work at their company. And at that point, I think that is also your leverage, right? Where you can say that, hey, you have offered me X with so much stock options, but I also have a counter offer which is maybe like 10% higher than what you're paying me. And then the recruiter will go back and like try to negotiate on your behalf and get you a better offer than that. Now again, this is all like the crucial business game, which is then obviously you're going to share the same data with the other three offers. Let's say you have three offers to those companies, and try to get the best offer for yourself, right? Like, there's nothing wrong in that, and again, like, there's nothing unethical in doing that. It's a very standard practice. It's the same way that you get quotes for your home project, or get quotes for your, like, buying a car or anything. Like, it's the same thing, right? Like, you try to shop around for the best offer that you're getting, and the same thing is what you're doing at an organization. Now again, like, it has to be an apples to apple comparison. You cannot really go and say that, hey, in one of the roles I'm getting like a PM role, on the other hand I'm getting a data scientist role, on the third one I'm getting a software engineering role. So the pay may not be same across those three, but if it's a comparable offer between tech companies, then you have that leverage to ask for more, because now you have a stronger data to back you up, saying that, hey, this other company is offering me way more than what you're offering me. So that's also something that's helpful for negotiation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you're in the fortunate position to have counter offers, 100% use that to your advantage, because that gives you even more leverage.
Yeah.
Now that you are an employee that's sought after.
Yeah.
That you can solve problems at many different companies clearly. You are somebody that's well recognized, who is a lot of companies identify you as somebody who can come in and make a difference. So I feel like 100% counter offer is a great way. In this process, I would also encourage candidates to be honest. I think honesty is always the best way to get the best result for both the company and for yourself. So definitely be honest about your ongoing interviews. If you're talking to other companies, if you are considering other roles, be honest about it to the recruiter. There's no need to hide them. As I keep mentioning, the recruiter is on your side, is trying to represent you, is not against you. It's important to not think of the recruiter as somebody that you're trying to win against. Get them on your side, build trust, show honesty, show a genuine interest in working for the company, and the recruiter will be able to, I can guarantee you, recruiters at top companies are very qualified and they have a lot of say, and they can make a lot of things happen for you, provided that you are honest with them and you think of them as part of your team. So I would highly recommend that you follow that practice when you interview at any company.
It's a great point that you made, is like being transparent with the recruiter on other processes that you're part of, because that also gives you a little bit of leverage to tell them that, hey, I am at this stage of the interviews with this other company. So I would request you to maybe move forward faster, because I'll need to make a decision about this other offer that I'm getting from this company. So help me get an offer sooner than that. So having that transparency is also helpful. Again, there's nothing unethical about interviewing at multiple companies. There is nothing unethical about getting offers at multiple companies. There is nothing unethical about rejecting these offers that you get. I'm not saying that you should sign an offer and then get back. That's not the case. But then if you get offers from multiple companies and then you choose whichever is the best one for you, there is nothing wrong in that. So don't be worried about this. A lot of times international students are worried because we come from a more a worried mindset where you're like, hey, is it gonna be difficult? Am I putting myself in a difficult 100%. Situation?
I think in international students, I have faced the same thing, and I have made mistakes in my life because of my background and the way I think. Like, I feel I've always, when I was just starting out, I always felt like the company is doing me a favor by giving me a job rather than like it being a two-way street. So I've always had a hard time sort of asking for things. I think this is a very international student mindset. We feel like companies or our bosses are doing us favors rather than actually us deserving it. So I feel like always go in thinking that you deserve it, and of course have data to back what you are asking for, and then you will be a lot of things can happen, and definitely it's a process that you will work through. And most hiring teams are prepared for that. They know how to handle this situation, and we can get a lot of good talent that way.
So the final words are basically, you need to print this out and put it on your work desk. They need you as much as you need them. It's not a one-way street. They're not doing a favor on you. It's not a charity. You're going to most likely make more impact than the salary that they're giving you. So they need you as well.
100%. You both need each other equally. It's a two-way street, and yeah, your recruiter is your best friend. Make sure you are honest. Make sure you show positive intent. Make sure you show a good. Make sure that you show yourself that you're really determined and to make a difference. And you are also trying your best to be a part of the company, and things will work out 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you mentioned, always negotiate. I think in life, pretty much
Everywhere.
pretty much everywhere, try your best to negotiate. Is a good life skill to have. It will teach you a lot of things, and you'll be amazed by what you can achieve just because you asked.
Just ask.
So I would recommend always ask when you are going through a recruitment process, and if you have any doubts, ask questions. If you don't know how the negotiation process works, ask your recruiter how it works. What are the next steps? Get as much information as possible, and yes, I mean you will 100% be very, very successful through the negotiation stage, and you will be you will be in a good stage to hit the ground running at your next organization.
Absolutely. And well, we are here to chat about all the unanswered questions that you have in your mind. We have been trying to be as unfiltered as possible. So if you have any other questions about, again, like tech, immigration, Silicon Valley, studying abroad, I don't know, just like living life, whatever is coming in your mind, just throw it in the comments below, because we make it a habit to read through the comments just to understand what do people care about, what are the things that we can talk about, because between us we talk a lot, and we've been just making it a practice to do it on camera so we can share this with everyone.
Yeah, I think this is just a regular conversation. I mean, just with cameras around. I feel like this was very casual. So yeah, thanks for listening, and all the best with your negotiation process. I hope you all are successful through it.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. Make sure that you're liking and subscribing the video, and put in the questions in the comments below. See you next time.